So as you can guess by the video, it's not as long as Animal Crossing. Found something else out about Animal Crossing as well with moving in the villages. You can't move one in until one's completely moved out. And you'd think, you know, because my friend, somebody had an animal I wanted and one was leaving, and it's like, well, my animal's in boxes and their animal's in boxes, and mine leaves at 5 AM when the day changes over, and theirs also leaves at 5 AM. So you think they'd just be able to rotate, like, oh well, Spyro's animal leaving at 5 AM. I'm also leaving at 5 AM. If I go to the airport, by the time I fly to Spyro's island, it's going to be 6 AM, there's going to be an empty spot. Not the case. You can't, there's no simultaneousness in Animal Crossing. Great, that was fantastic. So, lost a chance at a villager, but I mean, it's fine. We've got all year for that. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, you can tell by the length, it's not as long, because it is just a remake. Most of the stuff, and it's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious. I mean, the graphics I will add a little bit to, but there isn't a whole lot to go into aside from the big two things. You know, I mean, even one of those isn't that big, and some people might get kind of mad at me, but meh. But the one big thing, you know what the big thing is. You know what the big thing is, and we'll get to that when we get to that. And of course, the second I start recording, someone's at the door. Haha, it's alright, it's fine. But yeah, so as I was saying, not going to be that much anyway. We can leave it in, doesn't matter. It's not going to be that much anyway, because it is just a remake, and most things are what you'd expect. And aside from the two, which are just kind of like, yeah, well, you know, it's there if you want it. It really doesn't have as much as Animal Crossing. So, you know, let's just get right into it with the easy one. What you'd expect. It's great, it's fantastic. You know, we've got to the point with the PS4 now teetering on the very brink of the PS5, where music is as high quality, you know, 1080p, 4K. We are at the peak of music quality, so we get the full-on, you know, orchestral Advent Children, Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3. We get the full-on nice high quality rips, and they sound great. All of the tracks from the original fully remastered. Oof. Ooh, sounding lovely, sounding fantastic, amazing. Can't, nothing much else to say, is it? Music, be good. Same with the graphics. Remember back in the day when you had these blocky people, and then Advent Children come out, and you're like, look at the detail on Cloud face. Look at the detail in Cloud versus Sephiroth in Advent Children. We only have the blocks. How are we ever going to match the blocks? We can never get to that quality. And then here we are with that quality. You know, you look at any of the cutscenes, and it's like, hey, you know, Cloud, Barrett, talk to each other. Oof. Oh, it looks like Advent Children. I'm watching Advent Children. I'm watching the film. Nice. Real good. I mean, we already pretty much had these cutscenes with Crisis Core, which was way back in the day, you know, when Sephiroth and Genesis and Angio were all on that big gun. But, like, you know, it's just nice. It's like, hey, we have reached the peak, and that's great. However, cutscene graphics, this is what you'd expect. That's fine. In-game graphics look exactly the same as Advent Children. You know, it all looks, oh, look, I mean, let's just take the Mako reactor in the very first mission. Look at that water, look at that Mako energy swirling around the bottom of the reactor. Oh, that looks nice. And every other aspect of the game looks nice. However, there are certain drawbacks that Square Enix decided to do with this, and you know, like, I guess, yeah, kind of, but no, not really. That's dumb. That's really dumb. So, Square Enix wanted to have every single, and I mean everyone, every single graphic be totally different. Everyone. So, like, you know, if we take just a street, for example, and there's the houses, they're not just all houses with the same brown door. Each door is going to have a number, so it's going to be like, here's house number 1, it's got a 1 on it. Here's house number 2, it's got a number 2 on it. Also, it's a yellow door. Here's house number 3, it's got a number 3 on it. Also, it's a blue door. And by wanting every single little graphic different, it bloats the gigabyte space to absurd degrees. And this is just part 1. Keep in mind, this is just part 1, and this is a slight spoiler for the story and the gameplay, but it ends just after the battle on top of Shinra Tower. We're not even in the open Spyro. We're not even in the open world yet. All we see in part 1 is Midgar. We do see a little bit of the Outlands, but that's in cutscene form only, with things like Zack, and we'll get into Zack in the story, but for the most part, cutscenes aside, pure gameplay, we are purely, you know, train graveyard, all of Midgar. We are in Midgar alone, and the final battle is on top of Shinra Tower, and the final ending is when we land just at the edge of Midgar, ready to go out into the open world of Gaia. And it's 112. Is it 112 or 106? It's 112. I'll say 12 because I'm pretty sure Red Dead Redemption was 6 and it beats it. But it's 112 gigabytes for part 1. Part 1! Jesus! And that's Midgar. That's just Midgar. That's not even the open world. That's purely Midgar. And if we translate, because part 1 is 40 to 50 hours long. Again, that's for the gameplay. But part 1 is 40 to 50 hours long. If you real go for 100%, possibly even 60. And by translating, or at least our estimations, you know, we're kind of guessing. We'll have to see. But if we take the original Midgar, the original beginning of the game to the battle on Shinra Tower, and how long that was in the original, and then take how long this version is, and we kind of divide it up backwards to the original, which came on 2 discs, it's going to, like, potentially, and obviously I'm just guessing here, but it's potentially going to be 5 parts long. If they really want to put that much stuff into it, that much graphics, that much extra content, which isn't all good, by the way, but again, we'll get to that. But if they want to put all that into it, if they want to put all this into it, where they're going to turn a 6 to 7 hour section into a minimum of a 40-hour section, that could potentially mean that this remake is going to last 5 parts. And if each part is a minimum, like this one, of 100 gigabytes big, that's an entire original PlayStation. That is 500 gigabytes. And saying that, this is over 100 gigabytes. If it was a 500 gigabyte one, and you did like 110, 110, 110, 110, 110, that's 550. You're going to be 5 gigabytes over. But maybe they may be able to just barely squeeze it down to 500, but I hope you've got 2 PlayStations, especially if you got the original, because it's going to be like, this is me Final Fantasy VII PlayStation, it literally only has Final Fantasy VII on it, all 500 gigabytes are Final Fantasy VII, nothing else. So this is me Final Fantasy VII PlayStation for Final Fantasy VII, and this is me other PlayStation for me other games. I've got 2 PlayStations, and that's a worry. Obviously, if you've got a newer one like a PS4 Pro that has a terabyte hard drive in, that mitigates it. But even then, if it's going to be 5 parts long, that's still 500 gigabytes. That's half your PlayStation Pro. Like your PlayStation Pro, psh, just cut that in half, just gone. Half your gigabytes, gone. And this is just the game. We're not even including the save file, however big the save file's gonna be. So, like, the fact it looks so nice, and I like that it looks so nice, but the fact that you wanted to go mega nice and have every single little thing all have their own individual graphics that bloat it to way over 100, that's gonna kill people's PlayStations. That's gonna be like, well, you know, if we've got other games, because most people will. Well, I've still got the original PlayStation, so it's like, if we've got other games, we've got Crash Team Racing, we got Overwatch, we got Spyro Reignited Trilogy, we got, what other ones can I see? We got Kingdom Hearts. You know, if we've got all this on this PlayStation, you might not even be able to fit Final Fantasy VII on it. You'd have to buy an entirely separate PlayStation. So while the graphics look so good, they look really fucking good, and I do appreciate the extra detail. God damn, that's a lot of gigabytes. I would have sacrificed a bit of graphical quality to, you know, actually have just a single PlayStation and not a Final Fantasy VII PlayStation exclusive for the Final Fantasy VII and a second PlayStation for all my other games. So yeah, that's an issue. So we'll move on. Just keeping on this track, I just want to bring up one other section on this track though, because this means it's leading to long development times, and I just want to bring this point up before we get into the other two, which are the big two of the gameplay and the story. So we know that this has taken a long time. This has taken way over 3 years, possibly even 5 years if we go by the original announcement, which people were like, yeah, oh, that's great, and then it went quiet for 2 years, and then they're like, no, we're definitely doing it. So 2 years might be dropped, but this was between 3 to 5 years of development, and we are, as I say, this year the Xbox One X has already revealed itself. It's already shown some of its third-party games. It's gearing up for its announcements this month in June for the first-party titles like Halo Infinite. There will be some sort of Nintendo Direct-styled video, except for Xbox, showing off first-party Xbox games like Halo Infinite. So we are on the brink of the next generation. We are literally here right now. Xbox already taking pre-orders because we've seen all the information about it. The PlayStation 5 lagging a little behind. We still haven't seen what it looks like yet, which is worrying a couple of people, because actually no, Spyro, you're a bit late, as 2 days ago they just revealed everything about the PlayStation 5. We saw it all. We saw their games like Ratchet and Clank with the female one that's had 1 million pieces of porn drawn of her. We had all the third-party titles, and of course we got to see what it looks like. Well, you know, there's a lot of memes around the design of the PS5. So no, we actually know what it looks like now, and we know all the information about it except the price. So just ignore past Spyro on this bit, because that bit doesn't matter anymore. We have now seen what it looks like. But it does make the point of, now that we've seen it, we're even closer to the next generation. So it only makes the point that I'm about to make all the more prevalent. That could potentially mean that it's not even finished. Like, I get it. I'll just bring this up very quickly, because I know what people are going to say. I understand that there are current issues in the world that are bigger than this, and, you know, that was, and what they responded was the correct response, to cancel the entire presentation. If you want to cancel the entire presentation because of current world, that's fine. Fine move. You did a positive. However, you could have at least tweeted a picture. Like, I think the reason why they got a lot of shit after just outright cancelling it because there wasn't even a picture. So everybody's like, well, yeah, we get that you cancelled it and that's fine, but not even a picture, not even a look. Even if it's just going to be a black box like Xbox, which more than likely it will be a black box, even if it's just a black box, at least let us see an image of it, because no image kind of leads people to worry that it's not even finished and it won't even be ready for this year. But let's pretend it is finished. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it is finished. Let's say PlayStation 5 coming out at Christmas. What's going to happen to Final Fantasy VII Part 2, 3, 4 and 5? Because Part 1, yeah, it was on the PlayStation 4, but let's say now that it takes another 3 to 5 years to get Part 2. Let's use the bare minimum of 3 years, which takes us to 2023. By that point in 2023, we will be fully well deep into the PlayStation 5's life cycle. We'll be 3 years deep into the PlayStation 5's life cycle. And when you're 3 years deep into the next console generation, at that point they pretty much stop making games for the previous console. So will Part 2 release on the PlayStation 4? Let's say it takes another 3 years for Part 3. So we're going into 2026. Will 2026 see Part 3 on the PlayStation 4? Let's say it's a minimum of 4 parts, and it takes us to 2029. 9 years into the PlayStation 5's lifespan. After 9 years of the PlayStation 5, will we still get Part 4 on the PlayStation 4? So that's something to think about. Because remember, it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be quick to develop these parts. If they want each part to be 60 hours long, 40, let's go by a minimum of 40. If they want each part to be a minimum of 40 hours long, that's going to take about 3 years. And we've only just got the first part this year. So will we get Part 2 on the PlayStation 4 3 years into the PlayStation 5? Will we get Part 3 6 years into the PlayStation 5 on the PS4? Will we get Part 4, potentially the bare minimum ending, 9 years into the PlayStation 5 on the PS4? And let's go by the assumption that it is 5 parts long. In 2032, oof, Jesus Christ, 12 years? We're going to be in the PS6 in 12 years, more than likely. Will we get the final part, Part 5, 6 years, in the PS6? In 12 years, will we get the final part of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4? You're probably going to say probably not. Probably not. That's a wild joke. So, is there any point in buying Final Fantasy VII on the PS4 at this point? Or should you just wait for it to come out on the PS5? Because with the PS5, you got a good chance of getting the whole collection, because we're only just starting the PS5's lifespan, and it's already been confirmed that when that launches, the remake, Part 1 of the remake, will be launching on the PS5. So we're just barely starting the PS5 and Part 1 is coming out. So there is a good chance that by the time we get to Part 4, we'll still have a PS5. But with the PS4, they ain't going to be making games for the PS4 12 years from now. So are we even going to see Final Fantasy VII completed on the PS4? Something to think about. I don't think it will. I think, like, you might as well just wait for it to come to PC, wait for it to come to the PS5 if you are getting one. But I don't see that happening for the PS4 if it's going to take that long. So that's just something else to think about. But right, let's move on to the big two. One not even that big, but let's move on to the big two. So the gameplay is fine. It's okay. It's adequate. Would I have preferred if it was like the original? Let's just play the original for two seconds here, because I want to like show you and then be like, okay.
announce it?
Because I've been here for a while doing Final Fantasy VII.
Oh no. Why have you been torturing yourself, Spyro?
Oh, you know, I'm nearly done. You'll hear it all in a minute.
Oh, okay. Has Sephiroth seen the future?
No, not yet. That's the last section.
Has Sora jumped through a portal into the world of Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah. Alright.
But besides the game not being Final Fantasy VII, how does it play? If we just forget the fact that...
Adequate.
If we just forget the fact that it's not Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it plays fine. Well, you're about to hear the gameplay, but yeah, so here we go. So, yeah, if you look at the original Final Fantasy VII, you will see there is a time gauge there. It is a very rudimentary, very basic time gauge. But as you're watching this combat unfold against these little turrets here, there is still a turn-based element. People are still taking their turns, they are selecting what they want to do, whether it be a physical attack, a magic attack, using an item, and each person is attacking in kind. Each person is attacking in turn. So we attack, the turrets attack, we attack, the turrets attack. Going over to this new one, they wanted to do something more along the lines of World of Final Fantasy, but then even further beyond that with the active time battle system of Final Fantasy 15. So if we look at Final Fantasy 15, where the beautiful boy band here are fighting this big dinosaur fellow, as you can see, everybody is actively moving around. Everybody is not locked into one position, unlike in the original Final Fantasy 7. I'll just leave this in the bottom corner. So we're not locked onto a grid. We can actively move around as we can in Final Fantasy 15. And if we look at the beautiful boy band here, as they're actively moving around, they are using magic spells, they are using physical attacks, teleporting, etc, etc. And while they are attacking, the enemy can also counter-attack. It can attack on the exact same moment that you're attacking to counter, because everything is active time. And that's how it works in this game, where you can run around, as you can see with us just fighting the first boss, the Mako Reactor boss. We can run around on our own, and even when we're slicing with our big sword, the big scorpion mech thing can fire missiles. It can attack at the exact same moment. It can launch counter attacks with this active time battle system, which, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's adequate. It's bare minimum. It's boring, is what it is. Like, here's the problem for the combat system. If we were to ignore the spiky yellow-haired man, if we were to ignore the black man, if we were ignoring the big-breasted lady, and we just put Steve, Bob, and Jim all lined up, it might be fine. It might be okay. It might be, you know, an okay, at best, RPG. But this is not Steve, Bob, and Jim. This is Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa. This is Final Fantasy VII. And the one thing that everybody was hoping, I mean, considering what's coming next, that just went into the fucking ground. But the one thing everybody was hoping was, what have we had just before Final Fantasy VII Remake? We have had Spyro Reignited Trilogy, a one-for-one remake of the 3 classic games. Spyro runs, he jumps, he glides, he charges, he shoots his fire breath. Perfect one-for-one. I love it. Take my money. We've had the Insane Trilogy for Crash Bandicoot. He jumps, he spins, he gets a bazooka in the 3rd game. Perfect one-for-one recreation. Take my money. We got Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. A perfect one-for-one recreation of the original PS1 game to start off with, where it's like, here is the story, Nice graphics. Here is the driving. We tightened up the controls. We made the drift boosting even better. You can go crazy. Oh, I love it. And we give you any engine, any driver. So if you, because Coco, a lot of people like Coco, but she's a shit class. She's acceleration. And speed and drift are currently king. Well, why can't Coco be speed and drift? Don't worry, we got you. We've improved the original. Coco can play as speed. Oh my god, that's amazing. We're going even better. Skins for the cars and for the racers. Oh my god, Halloween themed, Christmas themed. Yes, please. We're gonna add all of the Nitro Kart characters like Emperor Velo and Nash and everybody else. Oh my god, we're gonna add all of the tag team racing characters and all the fucking mobile characters like Yay Yay Panda. Nobody even knew who she was, but here she is. Holy shit, we're gonna add some memes like a fucking metal crate. Oh my god, we're not done. We're not only adding the Oxide time trials from the original, we're adding the Velo time trials from Nitro Fueled or Nitro Kart. Well, it's just one big deluxe game. We're not done. What do you mean? We're adding developer time trials. We're adding online, which is just basically what everybody wanted. Holy fucking hell. Everything. We threw it all in. So it was just one big deluxe version of the 3 originals, being Crash Team Racing, Crash Nitro Kart, and a little bit of tag team racing. Obviously the tag team element's not in there, and some of the things from tag team racing were bad, but we pretty much just said take all of it together, and that's what everybody was expecting. Everybody was expecting Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Crash Insane Trilogy, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Everybody was expecting just a nice, amazing deluxe version where we still got the original combat. And we don't have the original combat. We have this. And this is where we just mash X forever. You get bored. I was just mashing X. This is all you do. You mash X. Now I've heard people say, Spyro, if you mash X, you're playing the game wrong. That's the tutorial boss. If you mash X on Genova or Sephiroth, you're gonna die. You don't die. You don't die. You don't. You might have to use a potion every once in a while, but you don't die for mashing X. Because what Square Enix have done is they've got Kingdom Hearts 3 syndrome. What do you do in Kingdom Hearts 3? You mash X. There is no point, at any point in Kingdom Hearts 3, to use any kind of magic aside from cure. If you need to cure on a boss, hit that cure button. That's fine. But fire, blizzard, thunder, arrow, reflect, don't need to use them. You just mash X. It's even been memed in Barry's video. Play it, Barry.
Sora have a good old-fashioned anime showdown. You know, Sora believes in himself, Ansem turns into a boat, and the player mashes X a lot until Ansem is like, alright, whatever, I'm gonna open the door to Kingdom Hearts, which is the source of all hearts, and it's all darkness in there and stuff. I love darkness, check out my tattoo. And Sora's like, alright, fine, open it, you dollar store goth, and sort of fumbles with his Oakleys for a moment because Diz to disappear, and for some reason also turns Riku back to normal. Xemnas is all, my beautiful plan ruined, etc, let us fight. Sora and Riku hold hands and prepare for a good old-fashioned anime showdown. Sora believes in himself, Xemnas turns into a boat, and the player mashes X a lot, and sometimes triangle, until Xemnas is defeated. Everyone winds up back on Destiny.
Exactly. Ansem turns into a boat, Sora believes in himself, and the player mashes X a lot. You mash X and you win. That's all you do. And because, you know, kiddies like Kingdom Hearts, kiddies like Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, we're dumbing it down for the kiddies. This original, this classic, this shit, that's too complicated for the kids. Take it down to Kingdom Hearts 3. I want to see those players mashing X. And it makes it so fucking boring.
I don't have a cutie mark yet, but
Mash,
I don't care
these
much about
Woodtowns.
that. And today is
99
the first
max
day of the
launches.
new school
Don't
year.
worry, guys.
Mom, I'm ready
You
for
just
school.
drink potions and mash the buttons.
Never mind.
That way. Oh, sorry, dude. We got a potion that we can drink, and we mash the button. Do we get the escape sequence or not? You don't have any active time battle gauge. Oh, they open the door. You have to fight them because they open the door. Right there, we're done. It makes it so incredibly boring. It makes it so incredibly boring. And then Square Enix just decide to rub salt in the wound because... Alright, fine. You wanna remake it? You wanna add your own little spin on it? Fine. But oh, look at this option! Classic mode! Well, what do we think of when we think of classic? We think of, you know, the NES, the original Super Mario Brothers, Sega Genesis, the original Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Nucleus. Classic games. Classics from an olden time. oh man, I can't wait to play classic mode. I can't wait to engage in the turn-based style combat of the original. No. No, it's not. It's not. Classic mode is new funky mode, where Funky Kong beats the game for you. It's Super Donkey Kong mode. You don't have to do anything. You move the stick a little bit forward, and then they'll beat the game for you. That's not classic. That's not fucking classic. Why would you lie? Why would you do that? Spyro, I don't believe they'll beat the game for you. Well, let's take a look at some of my footage where I got so bored with classic mode. I mean, I kind of knew what I was getting into, but I did it for shits and giggles. Let's look at classic mode, that classic PS1 mode, that classic mode from the PlayStation 1, where Cloud beats the game for me while I'm playing The Binding of Isaac. I did fuck up the deal with the devil though, which is my bad. There's a key for the item room later. Monstro! Double mini Monstro. Easy. No deal with the devil. Didn't think there would be. Oh, no, I don't want Epic Fetus. I like the baseball that we've got going on. I find the baseball fun. Everyone is praising the demo, but there's an autoplay. That means your game isn't worth it. As I say, there is like a real like mode, but it just comes down to button mashing, but no. There's no turn-based. Like, there is... If there was a turn-based mode, then maybe, but there's no turn-based, so I won't. Oh, Broken Crown! Fuck yeah, that's good. Infested. Take damage and stagger. Oh, we nearly done it. We're that good. We nearly pro gamered the Hierophant. We can take a deal with the devil with that. Ooh, Call to the Void or Black Powder. Let's how do you... I don't play as this character that often. How do you do this? Call to the Void. Take the fear. Bring it back in. Oh, look at that. It's a dark baseball. We haven't been to the item room yet, but you know what? No, we should. We should go to the item room. 75% chance with a deal with the devil. No idea what the hell we'd take. Don't even worry about items, because this was the wrong way. This was the wrong way. So we gotta move. Oh look, we're actually... Sorry Isaac, hold the phone. We're actually playing again. Spyro did it. Pro gamer achieved. Gamer! Pro gamer! Oh my god. Ah yes, I remember classic mode. I remember that classic PlayStation 1 mode where I could just play fucking Wario Land 4 on my Game Boy while Cloud beat the final boss for me. Because he can beat the game for me. Because it's not classic mode, it's new funky mode. God damn it. So yeah, the gameplay is incredibly boring. It's you got two options. You either Kingdom Hearts 3 and you mash X a lot, which is boring, or you do a new funky mode and you let God beat the game for you. So you know, if you need to read a book, beat that Isaac boss, do whatever you want, do that, and it's boring and it's not engaging. And what makes it even worse is why it's 60 hours long. Some of it comes from the story, which is the last section, we'll get into that. But some of it comes from just the absolute inane, stupid extra things that you didn't need. You didn't need them. A simple button press would have sufficed. You know, you're opening the doors to the Mako reactor in the original, press the button. That's it. We're done. Because a button doesn't... Opening a door doesn't need to be this big grand epic thing. That's like if you were going to play Luigi's Mansion and you watched him put the key in the lock every single time and turn the key every single time and then slowly, shakily put his hand on the doorknob every single time. No, what do? You might watch it the first time just to see what he's doing, but every other time you just skip it. Because opening a door doesn't need to be a big grand thing. But here, every little thing, every tiny little thing is a big grand thing. You want to open the Mako reactor door? Oh look, there go Tifa fucking pumping these fucking levers. You could have just pressed X like in the original. You could have just been like, doors open. You want to get up this cliff? Here's Tifa and Aerith fucking around with this drill. You know, you could have just pressed X. That didn't need that. Didn't need that padding. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with the original of just, oh, press a button, it's done? Why? Why do we need this? Why do we need all this extra shite? And then we get into the Honeybee Inn, and we have to play Riding Solo from Star Wars: A Han Solo Experience. Okay, I mean, arguably, that bit is a little bit of an extra bonus because you get to see Cloud acting fabulous as he dances. But fuck, most of it is just this inane little minigame padding shite. Like, I get there was minigames in the original, which you didn't even bring back. Where's my Chocobo racing? I know that's not till later in the game, but where's my Chocobo racing? You couldn't even give me the Chocobo racing. Why? Why cut that for this? You could have cut all these and just give me Chocobo racing earlier, but you didn't. You give me, oh well, you gotta open a door, better pump them levers rather than just press the fucking button. We had this with the fucking Wii U, or the Wii with Skyward Sword. Well, if you aim your Wiimote to the sky and spin it round and then thrust it down, you'll get a Skyward Strike. Or I could press a button. That's why a lot of people started to get sick of all the fucking motion control bullshit. Because it's a gimmick. I don't need to waggle my dick around the controller when I can just press a button. But that's what we gotta do. Half the shit, like opening the door, we gotta play some shitty minigame, waggle the stick around the fucking dick when we could just press a button. But, you know, that aside, combat, you know, again, mash X, it's fine, beat the game for you, it's fine, whatever. It's basic. I get it's basic. You're bringing in the Kingdom Hearts 3 crowd, you're bringing in the kiddies from Kingdom Hearts 3. I would have preferred if there was a classic mode, but whatever, it's fine. It's adequate, it's okay. It's mediocre, but it's okay. It's passable. I'll do a Kingdom Hearts 3. I'll mash X. If you want me to mash X, I'll mash X. Because you know what? I don't care about the gameplay. Because the one thing that made Final Fantasy VII stand tall atop the mountain, the thing that put Final Fantasy VII in the halls of gaming history, with Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Spyro the Dragon, all those classic games, the one thing that made it stand tall was its fucking amazing story.
Final Fantasy VII is a dramatic game, one that makes you examine the world around you, because it presents you with so many parallels. It's also fun as hell, from little gophers that attack you in the countryside to the biggest weapon unleashed by the planet onto you, a human. viewed as a threat by the planet. The battles can be exhilarating, and to lighten the mood a little bit, you can participate in a giant bird racing league. It's a game filled with sadness and learning to deal with life, and of course, stopping the powerful from making grave mistakes. I'm sure among people that love this game as much as I do, there's 100 different reasons for what made Final Fantasy VII so great. But for me, even though the game wasn't perfect, it truly opened my eyes as to what games could be.
And our Lushu. Zigbar, or Lushu, is like, whoops, looks like Xehanort's out of the picture and I'm the villain now. Horngus hens, the ride never ends, hee hee hee.
Hey Nomura.
What the flip is up, Teiyasu, co-director of the Kingdom Hearts franchise?
Could you please send me the script for Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance 2?
I sent you the script a week ago.
Actually, you gave me the script for the ending portion of the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
What?
I must admit, you did a phenomenal job. I'm sure that even the most hardcore fans of the original will appreciate what you did with the story.
Oops.
Yes, as you can see, it's not the best because Nomura wants to rewrite the entire story. However, sorry to leave you hanging, but that's going to be a part 2. Because after after reading my lines, they're on my tablet right now, some of the sections, because I'm kind of going through each character, like Cloud, he's pretty much the same, Tifa, Aerith, Barrett, pretty much the same, but there are certain characters that have had major changes, and certain events that have had major changes, and I wanted to go quite in detail on them, like obviously Sephiroth and Sephiroth Prime and Sephiroth Alternate Dimension and Sephiroth from the past, because apparently there's multiple Sephiroths. Obviously the Time Ghosts, we gotta have a big section for the Time Ghosts, and potentially, depending on like how they decide to move forward, Genova. So yeah, there's a lot changed with the story. There's a lot to cover in the story, and after looking at how long it would take for me to read those words, it'd be another hour. So rather than like a 2-hour video, here's a 40-minute one. You can hear the gameplay, whatever you think of the gameplay, and then like in a couple of days will be the story part, which goes quite in depth on the story. So yeah, that's that. So thank you all for watching part 1, and I'll see all of you in part 2. sorry to cut you short, but it's a little bit of a long one. So yeah, I'll see you in the story part of Final Fantasy VII.